day, Heidi, at Seton Hill, and I know there's still plenty more to talk to.
Right.
Just a plethora of authors here, a lot of talent in this building and in these halls. But joining us are two of your colleagues from Raw Dog. Why don't you introduce them to our audience?
We have Deanna Lepsch over here, and she's going to be with us for some of the interviews today, because this was Deanna's idea originally to come here and do all of these wonderful author interviews. She recognized how much talent came out of Seton Hill because she herself came out of Seton Hill.
Yes, I did.
Yes, she's both an alum, and she is one of the main coordinators of the In Your Right Mind conference that we have here now.
Yes.
And she just came from decorating for the Princess Bride Ball. So she's like, just reminded me she didn't have her lunch yet. And then over here we have Jennifer Barnes, and she is the other half of Raw Dog Screaming Press. She is an editor and co-founder of the entire publishing company, and she is also my boss and Deanna's boss. And she is an absolutely wonderful person. She, to me, has been a mentor, a female in this type of an industry that has sometimes been very male-dominated, especially with the type of genre that Raw Dog and Dog Star Books celebrates.
So Jennifer, you're a writer as well, is that correct?
I don't like to call myself a writer.
Okay.
I have done one book. It's a children's book, but I think of myself primarily as an editor.
Okay.
I did the children's book because I found an artist that I love so much that I wanted to do a book by her, and so I wrote the book around her artwork, so that was pretty easy.
And it has a great name.
It's called Better Haunted Homes and Gardens.
I love it.
Yes.
So what drew you to being an editor?
My husband is an author, and I always loved reading. I've been a reader, since first grade, just reading, picking up anything and reading. So then, of course, I studied English and got a BA in English. And from there, I kind of have a dual track. I'm a graphic designer and an editor. I don't think there's a whole lot of people that do that, but I really like how publishing gives me the chance to do sort of the complete package. I do everything from, the editing in the beginning to the layout of the actual physical text in the book. So, I don't know, it's what
These creative people that can do everything. I know.
It's true.
Yes, and speaking of which, Deanna does these incredible penguins. I wish we would have brought penguins with us. They explain how you do your penguins.
Well, I have these, I work with polymer clay, and
Okay.
I make penguins that do things. Penguins can do anything. So I make these penguins that I like to model them after things. So I did one, I actually did John and Jen.
I might have mine over there.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. We could maybe look for it later.
Maybe somebody, look for the penguin.
Ken, can you find us a penguin? Please?
I'm not sure. I might have put it in my bag.
No, a penguin.
Penguin, not a pen. I didn't know whether you had known about your penguin, Jen, and I thought I was giving something away.
No, I gave it to her right away last night at the book
They
signing.
look just like John and Jen as penguins.
My
As
penguin is
penguins.
sitting on a stack of books, has glasses, and is reading a book.
Yes, I thought that was
It
perfect.
seems pretty accurate.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
John's has a fancy frilly cravat and a quill.
And a quill.
It's what he was going to wear to the ball tonight.
Yes.
Oh.
You'll see. You'll see.
Yeah, definitely.
But they do everything, a little bit of everything. So my favorite one that I've made so far is Yukon Cornelius from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And he looks like Yukon Cornelius, but he's a penguin.
The penguin version.
Absolutely. Yep.
No penguins.
Oh, well,
Yeah. and
well,
that's
we
kind of-
described
I
them
must have
enough.
taken it out of my bag.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
That's all right.
Well, it's more about you than your penguin anyway. So. Oh, this is wonderful. I think it's interesting how you got the name for Raw Dog Screaming Press, because I get asked all the time, wow, that is, one of those names that people never forget. Can you tell us how that came about?
Well, it comes from a poem that my husband wrote titled Raw Dog Screaming. And, when we were coming up with different press names, generally people choose very
Mundane.
mundane names for presses like Green Grove Press or something like that. And, we were kicking around different ideas, and I really liked the phrase, so we went with it. And I think, you know, we've had so much varied response, but usually positive response. Like even when we go and do events just out in the public, you can see people walking by and our banner will be out in front. You can see their lips moving. And you know, you can see their reaction, and it's pretty interesting sometimes.
Well, you have an awesome logo. And how did the whole logo come about?
Well, again, because I'm a graphic designer, you know, you have to have a logo. You want to have something that people will associate with your company. And so, of course, I wanted a dog's head, and so that's how I came up with, you know, that it's pretty versatile too. You can use the dog for a lot of things. So
Right.
then we went with Dog Star books, and then we had dog and that. So,
Put a little bubble helmet on the dog.
Yes.
So that's you have.
so we sent the dog to outer space.
Yes.
So that's not your only imprint, though, correct?
No, we do have a nonfiction imprint called Guide Dog Books. And,
It's a different dog, though.
It's a dog, and he has a little monocle. He has a monocle.
It's so cute.
And then I don't know why, for our children's book imprint, we went with imaginary books. So no dogs. there.
No dog.
No.
I know.
You could add one.
Yeah.
Could be an
Imaginary
imaginary
dog
dog.
There's an imaginary dog, right? It's there. You just
That's
don't
why it's
see
not
it.
there, because it's imaginary.
Right.
And
Oh, there we go.
Makes sense.
That's what
Yeah.
you're gonna have to
Silent
tell
E.
people. Oh yeah, it's the silent dog. Oh my goodness.
So we didn't get to talk to you a whole lot, Deanne, about the about your association with the Seton Hill program here. You're involved with the program, or are you an alum? Or
I'm an alum, and I also help run the In Your Right Mind workshop.
okay.
So.
And the workshop has kind of amazed me. I got to come in last night a little bit and see all the talent that's here. Most of the people here that you've coordinated with, alum of the programs.
We actually have the largest number of non-alumni attendees this year. I couldn't quote you any numbers, but I know that it's blown everything else out of the water previous years. But the majority of our attendees are alumni, and then all of our staff, everybody that helps out, they're all alumni.
Sure. So, you know, it's great for southwestern Pennsylvania to kind of have these literary minds come together, and for our local viewers, that might not be something that they realize is here at Seton Hill. I know it's something that surprised me, and Heidi and I we were talking earlier that it surprised her when she came here. How did you learn about the programs?
Internet.
On the
Yeah,
internet?
I learned about it from the internet. I was searching for grad schools. I knew I wanted to attend a grad school, and I'd been looking at literary programs. I really didn't want to write literary fiction, and then I stumbled across the Writing Popular Fiction program, and I looked into it. I took the brochure to my professor, and he said, "Yeah, that looks legit. I think you should go for it." So I did, and I graduated in 2004.
Well, since I'm sitting with a group of publishers or people involved with publishing, and you guys have a 10-year history now with
Congratulations, that is a milestone.
with Raw Dog. You know, I have to ask, what makes someone get into publishing? It's uncharted territory. It's kind of rocky waters ahead, and you've done it for 10 years. So what made you kind of jump in, and what makes you all stay?
I think you
With
have
it.
to not know what you're getting into. Like now, what I know, I probably never would have gotten into it. And then because there's so many things involved, and you see people doing things, publishing things from the outside, and there's a whole lot going on. You just don't realize how much work goes on behind the scenes, and much of it is sort of unsung. But once, I guess I'm just tenacious like that. Once I start something, I'm like, well, I've put all this work in now, I'm just gonna keep on going. So,
That's
I don't
one
know,
of
I'm crazy.
That's one of the things that impressed me about you and John both is that you like authors. And I know that seems odd to hear, but too many times you run into publishers or editors that can't see from the author's perspective. And all three of us have had experiences on both sides of the table, and I think that's what's really important.
Yeah.
So for someone who's up and coming, what's your advice as a publisher if they're looking to get published, if they're...
Right now, it's really important to just investigate all the options. It's kind of exploded in the amount of things that you can do. You can go into the small press, you can do self-publishing, you can, go try to find an agent. You really have to just find what fits for you.
Yep.
Well, we're just about out of time. We have to wrap it up. But if anyone wants more information about Raw Dog Screaming Press, one of your imprints, one of your authors, do you have a website that they can visit?
Yeah, our
An
website
awesome
is
website.
www.rawdogscreaming.com, and any information, it's a huge site.
It is.
So it can all be found there.
That's right.
We have more authors coming up a little bit later in the day, so stick around and we'll be right back after these messages.